The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Rebecca Chen walked to the center of the circular platform. 300 delegates from across the known galaxy watched the human with a mixture of curiosity and barely concealed disdain. The crystalline walls refracted light from a dozen different suns, casting rainbow patterns across her simple military uniform. Commander Zalthor of the Krethian Empire leaned forward in his elevated seat, his four eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Human," he said, his translator rendering his chittering voice into flat, emotionless tones. "Your species requests membership in our alliance. Yet you bring nothing to our table. No advanced shields. No quantum drives. No particle weapons." He gestured dismissively with one of his 6 limbs. "You claim your weapons make you worthy. Demonstrate." Rebecca said nothing. She simply unslung the dark green duffel bag from her shoulder and set it carefully on the floor. Immediately, every security system in the council chamber erupted. Alarms shrieked. Red warning lights bathed the assembly in crimson. Automated defense turrets emerged from hidden panels, all tracking toward the bag. The delegates erupted into chaos, some diving for cover, others activating personal shields that shimmered into existence around their seats. "Chemical explosives detected," the station's AI announced in a booming voice. "Primitive kinetic projectile weapons detected. Incendiary devices detected. Tactical nuclear device detected. Biological hazard detected. Evacuate immediately." Rebecca stood perfectly still, her hands raised slightly, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Turn it off," she said calmly to Ronald Park, her fellow human delegate who remained seated in the gallery, the only being in the chamber who hadn't moved. Ronald touched a control on his datapad. The alarm ceased. The turrets retracted, but the silence that followed was somehow louder than the sirens had been. Commander Zalthor had activated a personal shield so powerful it distorted the air around him. You brought nuclear weapons into the council chambers." His voice cracked with a combination of fear and rage. "Among other things," Rebecca replied evenly. "You asked for a demonstration. I haven't even opened the bag yet." A delegate from the Sophian Collective, a species known for their pacifism and advanced philosophy, spoke up. Her voice trembled. "The biological hazard? What manner of plague have you brought among us? Anthrax spores, weaponized smallpox, and a modified hemorrhagic fever we developed specifically for battlefield deployment," Rebecca said, as casually as if she were listing ingredients for a recipe. "Don't worry, triple contained and stable, mostly." The chamber erupted again, this time in outrage. "This is an act of war." Someone shouted, "Barbaric! Primitive savages!" Rebecca waited for the noise to die down. When it didn't, she simply unzipped the bag. The chamber fell silent instantly. "Would you like to see the rest?" she asked. "Stop." The word came from Ambassador Quillix of the Nexarian Supremacy, the oldest and most technologically advanced civilization in the known galaxy. The ancient being's form rippled with bioluminescent concern. "Please, we understand your point, do you?" Ronald spoke up from his seat, his voice carrying easily in the chamber's perfect acoustics. "Because from where I'm sitting, you invited us here to mock us, to demonstrate how primitive humanity is, how little we have to offer your enlightened civilizations." He stood, walking down to join Rebecca on the central platform. "You've had peace for 6,000 years. 6,000 years since the last major war in this galaxy. You've forgotten what conflict means, what survival costs." Rebecca crouched down, reached into the bag and pulled out a simple knife. It gleamed dully in the multicolored light, nothing more than sharpened steel with a polymer handle. "This," she said, holding it up, "is one of the oldest weapons in human history. Variations of this design are 40,000 years old. We were killing each other with pointed sticks before we even had language." She set it on the floor. "We never stopped." She reached in again. This time she withdrew what looked like a simple metal tube with a grip and trigger mechanism. "This is a chemical propulsion firearm. We invented it 700 years ago. We've refined it continuously since then. It throws a small piece of metal at supersonic speeds using controlled explosions. Primitive by your standards." She smiled without humor. "But it works. It always works. It's reliable. It's cheap to manufacture, and humans have made trillions of them." One by one, she began removing items from the bag, naming each one. White phosphorus grenades, They burn at over 5,000 degrees and can't be extinguished with water. Cluster munitions. One bomb that becomes hundreds of smaller bombs. Thermobaric explosives that consume all oxygen in a confined space, suffocating or rupturing the lungs of anyone nearby. Depleted uranium penetrators that punch through armor using kinetic energy alone. Ronald picked up the narrative. Nerve agents. We have dozens of varieties. Some kill in seconds, others in minutes. Some are designed specifically to incapacitate rather than kill, because injured enemies require more resources than dead ones. You're monsters, whispered the Sophian delegate. Yes, Rebecca agreed simply. We are. We're very good at killing. We've had 300,000 years of practice on each other. We've fought wars over territory, resources, ideology, religion, and sometimes just because we didn't like how someone else looked. She stood, leaving the weapons arrayed on the floor. You asked what we bring to the Galactic Alliance. You have enemies on your borders, the Drevix horde that raids your outer colonies, the synthetic intelligence that's been expanding into your space. You have threats, but you've forgotten how to fight. Commander Zalthor had finally deactivated his shield. You think we need you? Your primitive weapons against advanced civilizations? No, Ronald said. You need what those weapons represent. You need the mindset, the creativity, the absolute refusal to stop until the threat is eliminated. Rebecca gestured to the council. Every species here has fought exactly one kind of war, the war they evolved for. You, Commander, with your hive mind tactics. The Sophians with their defensive philosophy. The Nixarians with their technological superiority. She paused. Humans have fought every kind of war. Against each other. Against our environment. Against extinction itself. And we're still here. Ambassador Quillix's form pulsed thoughtfully. You would bring this culture of violence to our alliance? We'd bring solutions, Rebecca corrected. The Drevix raiders that have plagued you for a decade. We'd solve that problem in 6 months. The rogue AI and the Perseus arm? We've fought and destroyed 3 artificial intelligence uprisings on our own world. We know how to win those wars. She began carefully repacking the weapons into her bag. You don't have to like us. You don't have to trust us. But when your civilians are dying, when your colonies are burning, when your diplomacy has failed and your defensive technologies aren't enough. She zipped the bag closed and slung it over her shoulder. You'll need someone who knows how to fight a war. A real war. Ronald turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing. That nuclear device in the bag, it's been disarmed for 300 years. It's a museum piece. Every real weapon we brought through your security is already on our ship. And your scanners never detected them. The council sat in stunned silence as the 2 humans walked out. 3 days later, humanity's application to the Galactic Alliance was approved unanimously. 6 months after that, the Drevix horde surrendered unconditionally.